Welcome everyone to our Lean ISO channel. This video shows how a mid-sized business can save $100, $200, $300,000 or more by using Lean ISO management system documentation. Can you guess how much a company of 500 employees spends per year on training? Not sure? Hang on, I will surprise you. While we look for the answer, click that subscribe button so we can inform you of our new releases. Our previous videos talked about the poor quality of typical ISO procedures, but we did not explore yet the cost of poor quality of documentation. Today we will close the gap and talk about how much it costs a company to deal with archaic documentation. There are numerous approaches to quantify costs of quality in production and manufacturing: cost of quality, cost of poor quality, cost of good quality, and others. To the best of my knowledge, there are no published methods to identify costs of poor, non-lean documentation. I guess it's time to come up with a new model and an acronym for it. Let's call it cost of non-lean documentation, or cost of cluttered documentation. One method for modeling costs of quality in industrial settings is known as Iceberg. This model will fit our needs well. It mimics an iceberg image with visible and invisible parts. The top is our direct costs, and the invisible part conceals our hidden costs below the water. Direct costs in our case include development, processing, training, and rework when corrections are required. All these costs contain in part wasted time, because each step takes longer for non-lean documents. Hidden costs may include diminished personnel morale due to the need to deal with messed up documentation all the time, increased delivery time due to rework, costs associated with rush releases, cost of withdrawal of deficient procedures, and others. Today we will talk about one of the visible costs, the cost of training related to newly released or revised procedures. Once I conducted a third-party ISO 9000 audit for a large logistics center distributing consumer products to wholesale centers and end users. The first opportunity I noticed was prehistoric over-documented procedures. The quality manager explained that all documentation came from way back when and nobody had the time to revise it. In response to my comment that it may be beneficial to optimize the documentation, the quality manager replied that they did not have time or money for such a project. I got curious and started digging to see if the company really did not have money to optimize their documentation. Just a few questions led to an interesting finding. At the time of the audit, the organization reported some 487 employees on 3 shifts. Training folks indicated that their learning management system showed that each employee spent 50 hours in training year to date. This number is pretty much in line with the data from Statista for this size of an organization. If you are interested, the link to the source is below. So by now the company spent some 50 hours per employee times 487 employees, which equals around 24,000 hours. Getting interesting, no? Let's keep on going. Suppose we accept an employee productivity of some $65 an hour for this industry. In this case, taking folks from work to training, the company lost $65 per hour times 24,000 hours, or close to $1.6 million. Training activities have different forms and curricula, with one of them being QMS procedures. Let's assume, very conservatively, that the company spent half of all this $1.6 million on training against the procedures. Then the procedure training alone would cost the company half of $1.6 million or $800,000 per year. Our procedure cleanup video showed how easy it is to eliminate waste in procedures and significantly reduce word count in a document. Check the link below and catch up if you missed that clip. Let's say that we followed procedure cleaning techniques and cleaned up our procedures by reducing the volume of our documentation by half. Such a reduction in the volume of documentation means that we will spend half of the time on the same training or spend only $400,000 instead of $800,000. Well, here is the answer to how much a company may spend on training. I believe this investigation proved without a stretch that a company of some 500 employees could save some $500,000 a year on training using clean management system documentation. We can use this calculation approach to any size of the company. Training intensity will depend on the industry, but as a ballpark, we can safely say that a company using lean documentation can save $1,000 per year per employee on training. It may not sound like much, but 100 employee company will save 100 grand, 200 employees 200 grand, and so on. To summarize, if you thought that there are no money trees around anymore, think again and keep looking. Those trees may be right next to you. Just put your lean glasses on. This concludes our cost of non-lean documentation topic. If you wish to learn more about lean methods used in ISO management systems, find the link below and check out my book ISO Management Systems: The Lean Revolution. It is packed with lean solutions and gives you a link to a complimentary download of our Lean ISO Procedures Jumpstart Kit. Think about things differently, folks. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time.